Hello, we are on Benjamin West and his cat Grimalkin, and we are on chapter 16, We Wish to Buy Them. Can't see that thee has changed much, said Papa when Benjamin and Grimalkin returned from Philadelphia. Except, said Papa, stroking his beard thoughtfully, thee and Grimalkin be thinner, while thy knapsack appears heavier. Yes, Papa, it is filled with presents, a parcel of thread for Mary, bone buttons for Sarah, and a comb for Hannah and buckles for Elizabeth. Mere trifles, snorted Papa. What gives it the bulk? A Johnny cake pan for Mama, and what? 2 books, replied Benjamin as he placed them in Papa's hand. For thee and me, he added in a weak voice. Papa looked over the books, trying to make out their titles. My spectacles are on the candle shelf, he said. Take the books inside. They will bear looking into. That night, Benjamin went to sleep to the pleasantest of sounds. Overhead, the small patter of rain on the cedar shingles. Below, Papa's voice reading aloud from Richardson's book on the art of painting. Benjamin strained his ears. He could not make out the words, but the tune was good. For when Papa's voice began to rise and fall and boom and quake, he was mightily pleased. Even Grimalkin could tell that. He burrowed deep in under the quilts and purred in his loud, rumbly fashion, as he always did when Papa and the family were at peace. As the news of Benjamin's trip spread, neighbors made all manner of excuses to visit Door Latch Inn. They wanted to hear about the great Samuel Shoemaker. Mrs. Tompkins came down from the hills to borrow some live coals. The fire on her hearth had gone out, she said. However, she seemed in no hurry to get back home with her pot of glowing embers. She sat down on the settle while her eyes scoured the inn for a glimpse of Benjamin. A spry-legged old man came 10 miles to borrow duck eggs. The creek on my place overflowed, he said. Washed all my duck eggs downstream. Come to borrow a few of yours, and maybe sit down a spell. Only Mr. Wayne, a gentleman of Springfield, made no excuses. He dropped in one evening, purposely to watch Benjamin at work. By my life, he exclaimed to Papa, your son's pictures are very acceptable. I should like to have 1 or 2 on my own mantel shelf. Then, when winter closes in, I could regard green trees and flowers. It would be like special windows opening into spring. Benjamin's heart sang. Never before had anyone wanted his pictures. Quickly, he slipped down from his stool and opened the pine dresser. He selected 3 landscapes and 3 portraits, including his very favorite, that of Grimalkin. If it please thee, I should like to give these to Mr. Wayne, he said, handing the pictures to Papa. Papa nodded. He seemed glad to get them out of the house. The next morning, when Benjamin was on his way to school, Mr. Wayne, on his black stallion, galloped up beside him. He leaped to the ground and led his horse along the road. My wife prizes the pictures. He smiled as he fell into step with Benjamin, especially that of Grimalkin. She is over fond of cats, you know. Vastly pretty, she exclaims, every time she chances to look at it. I myself half expect the creature to meow. He looks so lifelike. Mind my words, Benjamin, we shall soon be sending sitters to you for their portraits. All this while, Mr. Wayne had been jingling some coins in his pocket. Now he pulled out a whole handful of them and began counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. $6, he said as he piled the money into a neat little stack. Then he reached for Benjamin's hand and placed the money inside. Mrs. Wayne and I wish to buy the pictures, he said, and we hope $1 apiece will please you. $1 apiece, repeated Benjamin. Oh, Mr. Wayne! Then his throat filled and he could say no more. All day long the words sang themselves over in Benjamin's heart. Vastly pretty. We wish to buy the pictures. Vastly pretty. We wish to buy the pictures. And in his pocket the $6 kept a jingly tune to the words.